Welcome to another edition of the MDM podcast. With MDM, you gain market intelligence, insights, and research to succeed in wholesale distribution markets. Now in our 57th year, we help industry leaders like you drive innovation and outperform your competition. I'm Mike Hockett, our executive editor. Amid all of the M&A activity in wholesale distribution, it's always refreshing to me to see the formation of a new distributor rather than just the big getting bigger. Back in December, news came about a new player in the industrial pipe valves and fittings market in the form of Venturi Supply, which resulted from the combination of 6 PVF distributors, BPS Supply Group, Producers Supply Company, TriStar Industrial, AmeriPipe Supply, Industrial and Construction Enterprises, and Albuquerque Pipe and Pump Supply. Backed by Trive Capital, Venturi Supply wasted no time in adding scale, announcing an acquisition of a Maryland distributor this past April. The company is led by CEO Michael DiMino, who was the CEO of TriStar. He's the featured guest in this episode, which gave me a great chance to dive more into Venturi's formation and the moving pieces that had to be aligned for it to launch. I was particularly interested to learn how Venturi has gone about creating cohesion across its footprint of now 7 companies, operationally, culturally, and beyond, while also maintaining independence among them. So we explored that and much more. Enjoy. Michael, thanks for joining the MDM podcast.
Thanks, Mike. It's a pleasure to be here. Appreciate it.
Let's start off with a question that isn't distribution related. Outside of work, what would you say you are passionate about, or is there an interesting fact about you that you think would be worth sharing with our audience of distribution executives?
Right now and for some time, I have been tremendously involved in adult men's baseball. So I am still playing hardball on 2 teams and play about 80 to 90 games a year. Living in Arizona, we have it's paradise here because of all the major league, spring training facilities, which when they're not here, we get to use. And so it's the best fields I've ever played on, the best competition I've played on since college. And so that's my passion and my, relief from the world.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm a big Milwaukee Brewers fan, and they do spring training out there. So I've always meant to get out there to go catch some of that.
Yeah, it's great. When they're here, it's the best. And then all the visitors, and everybody's got the one thing in common, which is baseball. So all these people are from all over the country, and everybody just loves baseball and talks baseball. So you're in a bar or a restaurant or something, you see their T-shirts and their hats, and you know why they're here.
Well, I'm sure plenty of our readers saw MDM's December news brief about the formation and launch of Venturi Supply, but I'm sure a lot of others may not have. So for those not in the know, how would you describe Venturi Supply to someone that knows nothing about it?
Well, Venturi Supply is an independent distributor of pipe, valve, and fittings, and we are going to maintain that independence. So we're trying to be the alternative to maybe some of the big guys that we know and love, Ferguson, Windustrial, others. That where if you are an owner of a company, you've had a business for quite some time, and you are interested in potentially thinking about how you would go to the next segment or chapter of your life, maybe selling the business. We want to be that company that you can look at and know that your people will remain on board, your brand will stay in the marketplace, and your legacy will continue, and you'll stay independent. And you won't be part of the bigger companies.
And I think it mentions it somewhere on the Venturi website, but can you explain where the Venturi name comes from?
We think it's really clever. So Venturi is a dynamic fluid principle, is Bernoulli's dynamic fluid principle. And so turbulence is at the front of the flow, and using the Venturi effect, which is it could be a reducer, a nipple. There's no exact Venturi product in the PVF world, but our products, a combination of our products, make up the Venturi effect, which then smooths the stream, makes the stream more efficient, which is what we think we're doing. So we think it's clever because we're doing it from a management perspective. It is what the Bernoulli principle of fluid dynamics is all about. It's how like a cooler would work, a condenser. The flow of the water coming over those fins need to be optimized. And so the products we sell create the Venturi effect.
I like that. It's not one singular thing.
Correct.
It's the sum of the components.
Yes, that's
cool.
exactly right.
Well, I think with Venturi being new on the scene, we have to examine, how it was created and just how it came to be. So can you take me through how Venturi was created and what the impetus was for bringing Tribe Capital to bring together these 6 initial independent distributors that formed this new distribution company?
Well, Tribe's first investment in this space was with BPS, Bakersfield Pipe and Supply, and they've had a tremendous company for many years, very successful. The Byrams decided that it was time for them to look at, how they wanted to opportunistically develop their exit. And so Tribe provided the capital for the Byrams to do that. And then, Tribe finds itself with a company in the space. And of course, it wants to buy and build and attach. And my experience is such that I've been in several of these, both public to private and with private equity. So I have a little bit more experience than just an owner operator of a PVF house in distribution. And so they did an unbelievable job. Tribe did of bringing on Bakersfield, then PSC, and then Ameripipe and TriStar. TriStar was the company that I owned with other individuals. And we were in the same spot. We were interested in learning about exit valuation. And Tribe did an unbelievable job of providing that to us. So the 4 of us were now together, but not together. So we decided to call it Holdco, and we were going to build a parent entity that the 4 companies could belong to, and we could share best practices, ERP, our vendors, our rebate experiences, those types, and try to get value for our shareholders, which were no longer the families that own those 4 companies, but Tribe, right? And many of the families, different members are, stayed involved, the management teams. Again, we don't like to let anybody go. We want to keep people. It's hard enough in our industry to find good people. So the idea is to put these companies together and have the synergy of working together. So Holdco got to be a bad name. Like it was hard to keep saying Holdco. And so we went on a marketing concept and developed Venturi, and Venturi is the parent entity. So Venturi does own the other 3 companies, and then Venturi is owned by, or the 4 companies, and Venturi is owned by Tribe. I think the thing that you need to know as part of that, we've evolved in that the 4 companies are now 7, which we can talk about. And what we've discovered is that we pivoted, or we've evolved to the 3 segments. So we have a fire and life safety segment, an industrial commercial segment, and an energy and infrastructure segment. And those customers and those branches are all aligned under one of those 3 segments. So whether you're Monumental or whether you're TriStar, you belong to one of those 3 segments. And you start working together with other like-minded branch and customer serving individuals.
Just further on the snapshot of Venturi real quick, are you able to share across those 7 different companies now how many total locations there are and perhaps the headcount?
Yeah, we're, north of 600 million, 45 branches, 720 people or so. So it's been a tremendous bringing together. It's been a tremendous system of bringing together these 7 businesses.
Well, Venturi didn't waste any time after its launch this past December as it announced the acquisition of Baltimore-based Monumental Supply at the end of April, which added a single location. And I'm sure that you and the team there is looking to add more scale. So can you share what is on Venturi's criteria or its checklist when it comes to pursuing acquisition targets?
Again, it's the owner operator who wants to remain independent. We like keeping the brand alive and the people there. That's very important to us. We do the things we are doing, and the only changes that we really make is that we integrate the back office, or what we call shared services. So accounting, IT, HR, benefits, all of that gets shared, or we all have the same program. So, for instance, if you were using ADP, we use Paylocity. If you were using a certain, Cigna, maybe you're on a different healthcare plan now. Those are the changes that we make, but we try to keep everybody employed as they were. And we feel that we can pick up some benefits and opportunities by having that synergy across the platform for people to share those same services.
You have plenty of experience in the PVF distribution market, given that, as you alluded to, you spent 6 years as president and CEO of TriStar Industrial before taking this lead at Venturi. And PVF has typically followed the ebb and flow of the oil and gas market, which can be volatile at times. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on the general state of the PVF market right now and its key drivers.
I think, we tend to go up and down with commodities as well. A hot rolled coil is an important driver in our space. And right now, it's not rising. It's maybe middling a little bit, but, so we're definitely in a situation this year where we are growing, but through the acquisitions, our organic growth is slowed a little bit because the industry has slowed. So we're doing everything we can to take advantage of the opportunities we have within the 7 companies. There are product lines. For instance, when we purchased ICE was a big distributor of the 3M product line, and the other 6 companies weren't. So what we're doing now is proliferating the 3M product line throughout all 45 branches. And that's how we're trying to take share or gain share in each of the markets that we're in.
Venturi's launch announcement described the company as a unique player in the PVF distribution industry. And I'm sure that its formation wouldn't have happened if there wasn't an opportunity that you and the team there saw. So what does make Venturi unique? And can you touch on that opportunity that you and Trive Capital saw with it?
Yeah, I think we have a depth and breadth of product line because of the 7 companies that's pretty unique. One thing that we have in addition to that is a strong fabrication concept. There are things that we can do for our customers, everything from pipe supports to fire and life safety fabrication that is customized for their end use. So we have what we would call the on the ground pipe valves and fittings, but in addition then we have all the value added services, the basics of grooving, threading, cutting, but then fabrication on top of that. And that makes for a pretty stem to stern, one-stop shop kind of approach to many of our customers.
Well, Venturi hit the ground running with a considerable market footprint, as we alluded to here. At its launch, the company had about 40 locations that stocked about 60,000 items and over 550 employees at the time that helped the company to make over almost 1,000 deliveries per day. And it sounds like it's already exceeded those numbers, since that initial launch. How much of an advantage does that existing infrastructure of those original companies that it brought together to form Venturi, how much did all those existing pieces, just help the company immediately start gaining scale?
Yeah, again, it's the people, right? But, when you have a footprint that is in a town and you've got all the folks like our outside sales representatives, OSRs and ISRs have relationships that are invaluable. And when you buy the company, you're buying those relationships and you're bringing them in and they continue. But now they have the opportunity to maybe expand with these other product lines that one of the other 7 has to offer. So the people are invaluable, and that's the real secret to our success.
We know that distributors of all shapes and sizes and demographics are going through their own digital transformation, which can be a pretty difficult process. Can you share anything about Venturi's current digital capabilities and how it is leveraging technology or any other digital projects that might be on the horizon for you guys?
We have some e-commerce type initiatives out there. I think the biggest thing that our customers are looking for are sort of the back office connections. They want a portal to be able to get inside their own AR/AP credit application, order history, repeating order history, not, so what have I done with you? How have I transacted with you? Can I see that? Can you let me see that directly? The other aspect is we're doing a lot with our vendors trying to connect in an electronic format, all of the dot numbers, all of the images, all of the opportunities for us to make it a little easier to sell it, train and develop our people, and then pick, pack, and ship. So those are the two areas: customer portals and then connection to our vendors, which is where we're going electronically. It's hard, as you know, to sell pipe, over the internet, so to speak, but it's, we have certain customers that like to do it that way, but really they really enjoy the access to this back office type of approach.
There's so much increasingly amount of discussion of culture in distribution over these last few years, and the importance about forming and maintaining a culture that talent want to join and stay at. And it's a real challenge for long-standing distributors that are all under the same just single company structure to do that. But I have to think that can be particularly difficult for newly formed distributors like Venturi that are formed through the combination of more than a handful of businesses. So I was wondering, how would you describe the culture there at Venturi, given that it is a network of independent businesses, and what are the challenges with creating that cohesive culture throughout the company while maintaining independence?
That's a great question, and it's a challenge every day when we wake up in the morning that we're trying to educate, overcome, develop. We have 5 operating principles that we like to talk about all the time. We have a town hall meeting concept every quarter. We've instituted a bonus program for every employee in the company. So whether you're frontline employee, pick, packing, and shipping, or you're on our sales team or your senior leadership, you receive a quarterly bonus program, which is tied into our goals and objectives for the year to make sure that we are communicating. But the town hall meetings are fun. Every quarter we get together and we break it down into, each segment leader, each segment president has his own town hall. So the movement into the segments has brought multiple brands together under one leadership concept. Hey, I serve energy. Hey, I serve fire protection. So there might be a BPS person lined up with a TriStar person, or an ICE person lined up with a Monumental person. And they keep those individual identities, but they're working together to service the IC customer, the industrial commercial customer. So the segment movement was very big to our culture, along with these, regular updates as to how we're doing, more transparency, and a little bit of sharing in it when we do well with the bonus program.
I know that you can't share all of Venturi's long-term plans right now, but is there anything that you can share about what might be in store for the company in the near future, or its long-term goals of what and who the company wants to be?
Well, we're going to continue on like you were talking about, the digital transformation. I think our whole industry is going through it, and we have our own version of how, as I said, sort of how we want to attack that. So we'll continue to do that. We'll continue on the acquisition front, because there are so many great independent businesses out there that fit nicely into our story right now. And then organic growth is that, again, the 3M example is, I can't talk about it enough, that there's so much opportunity there for us with them that we weren't doing in the other. We had it in one branch. So now if, the opportunity to have it in 44 other branches is a big driver of growth for us.
Well, that is all the planned questions I had for you, Michael. It seems like the common thread here is this independent synergy, which is kind of a conundrum there. You think those are two opposite things, but I like the way that you guys have made it work, of keeping that independence that these companies had to begin with, but bringing in the collective capabilities across the board here. So it is an interesting infrastructure that you guys have.
Mike, when you think about it, the customer, like a flange is not a flange. So the flange is needed in an energy setting, higher pressure, higher weight, versus a mechanical contractor on the IC side. The flange looks the same, but it isn't the same. And so those little specifications are what we're starting to work on, and that's what's generating the collective directions, right? So within the segment, the power of that product knowledge, the industry knowledge, our people's knowledge, that's what's driving the commonality. Even though we're independent, we have that we're servicing that customer, and that's really the products and that direction to serve is what's driving the collection of the success.
Well, before we sign off, is there anything else about Venturi or just your general thoughts about the PVF distribution market or just elsewhere that you want to share as a final thought here?
No, I think, we want, obviously we would like a more robust economy. We would like more direction from our leaders so that we could have a clear opportunity to invest. Not just but our customers are looking for the same thing. We know that some folks have put off on some of their renovations and building hospitals and stadiums and whatnot because of interest rates and other things. So just hoping that the economy helps us a little bit as well. And the climate of leadership helps us as well.
Michael, thanks once again for joining the MDM podcast.
Thank you, sir. It was a lot of fun and I enjoyed it. And thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to the MDM podcast. Like what you just heard? Subscribe to hear more or leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts or see them all at mdm.com/podcasts.